Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. We have a Facebook group for people with delayed visas. We are live on X, Twitter, whatever you're going to call it. We're live everywhere. And I hope you are having an amazing day. Um, I want to start off by telling you a story um, about an amazing approval that we got recently. Um, all approvals are important, but some are more important than others. This is a case that I worked on for 6 years. My team and I worked on this case for 6 years. It was absolutely incredible. We finally got him approved. Our client got cancer. His health was failing. He was giving up hope. We did a lawsuit. We did everything we could to help him. His wife went to the U.S. consulate in Juarez, Ciudad Juarez. She got approved. She got her visa. It was a huge win for everyone in my office. We were all cheering and celebrating. It was unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable to reach that goal, to get approved, have all your worries and fears and doubts finally release all of that and know that you have the peace of mind of getting a green card. It's quite an incredible thing. It really is, and I'm so glad that that we did it. If you don't know me, I just want to take a minute to reintroduce myself. My name's Josh Goldstein. I'm an immigration lawyer. People ask me, where am I located? We have offices in California, in Boston, East Coast, West Coast. We help people around the world, across the country, wherever you're located, we can help you. And today I'm going to be taking questions and trying to answer them and be as helpful as I possibly can. So let's get right into it. I have here on Instagram, Malik Jabal 1. My I-751 was pending for 2 years. Today I got an update. It shows fingerprints relating to your form I-751 and permanent. Okay, I'm not sure what that means. These cases take a really long time. They take a really long time. So we have a Facebook user says, "Hi Josh, hope all is well. My father had his H-1B interview back in March of 2023. He turned in a 212D3 waiver during his interview. I've been in contact with the embassy ever since, but nothing new. What else can you do? Thank you." Wow. 212D waivers take a long time. One of the things, I don't have to tell you this, that's frustrating, is on an H-1B application, you only have a limited amount of time. You really do. And so you have to use that time wisely. You can contact my team and we could try to challenge the delay in your father's case. Obviously, with a 212D3, that means that you need a waiver to get back. That's tough. But it might be worth a try, because otherwise your father's H-1B status might expire before he even gets a decision on the waiver. So that's tough. I have someone saying here on TikTok, "You're always ignoring me." So I'm sorry about that. I'm going to go back and try to find your question. Post it in the questions. Post it in the questions. Post it in the questions. Let's see what you have in mind. Here's one from Inez Mendoza. She said her I-601A got transferred. Why? Well, they don't tell you why. There's no insight that anyone has as to why a case got transferred. So it's a matter of speculation as to why a case got transferred. Does it mean that something is wrong with your case? Is it a good sign? It's pure speculation, and I wouldn't read too much into it. Try to push it out of your mind. My friend on TikTok, Warrior Boy 252, you're always ignoring me. I hope you repost your question, because I can't seem to find it. I'm scrolling through my phone while I'm live, but I'll take some other questions in the meantime. I'm going to go back to Instagram. If you get engaged, is it the same as official marriage? No, it's not. When you're engaged, it means that you plan to get married. And that's very informal. It just means that the two of you have made a decision together that you're going to get married. And by the way, when it comes to marriage, today's my wedding anniversary. I've been married for 9 years. My wife and I are going to go out and have sushi to celebrate tonight. We're going to go to a Japanese restaurant. And it has me thinking a lot about marriage. But no, marriage and being engaged to get married are quite different. All right. Taking more questions. Sorry for the big yawn. Um, let's see here. Let's go to Instagram for Mr. MC. He says here, "Hi sir, my fiance lives in Costa Rica, me in the USA. We're planning to marry in June. Quick way to get her with me to the USA." Well, there is not a quick way to get her to the USA to be with you. There is a legal process to bring her here, but it's going to take time, and managing that is going to be challenging. It's going to take you probably a year, year and a half. Trevor says, "Congratulations to each and both of you." Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. I hope that if you're married, your anniversary is as sweet as mine. So that's very positive. Let's see here. Reality check. I like reality check. I like that name. My wife made a mistake in the affidavit of support form. She put in her date of birth on the beneficiary section instead of mine. What can be done as my interview is next week? Okay. Go to the interview and then point out the mistake at the interview. Just say, "Hey, just so you let you know, these are a few of the mistakes, things that I want corrected on the application." You can also write them up, type them up. That's what I do. Sometimes we'll type up any kind of changes, and you give it to the officer. Say, "Here are the changes since the application." But don't stress over that reality check. They're not going to deny you over that. Pretty Lily Torres joined us. I like that name. That's beautiful. I'm not going to try to pronounce your name, but it says here, "Can you go over the pain points for the O1A visa?" Okay. You should never apply for an O1A visa ever. Because it's the same criteria as getting a green card through EB1A. And which would you rather have, the EB1A or the green card? So I think you should just go for the green card. It's going to cost more money in legal fees, but it's worth it. So I don't think it makes sense to apply for a O1A visa. All right. What other questions do you have? Here, let's go. Let's go up to TikTok. What should I do if my son was put in 221G since August after his interview? All right. Listen carefully, and I'm going to tell you everything you need to know about 221G administrative processing and how to get out of it. First of all, there is no time limit for how long you can get stuck in administrative processing. What is administrative processing? All it means is, first of all, you went to the interview, your visa interview. You completed the visa interview. And secondly, it means that no final decision has been made. You're stuck. There's no time limit to how long you can be in administrative processing. Could be a couple of months. It could be a couple of years. So what do you do about that? Well, what you can do is after 6 months has passed, if you're still stuck, God forbid, and you're still in administrative processing, you should contact us and you should consider hiring us to file a mandamus lawsuit. This is the strategy that we use to fight to help you get the visa that you deserve. We challenge them, and we challenge the delay, and we sue. We go to court, and we basically, the gist of the argument is that the consulates and the embassies and USCIS have a mandatory mandatory legal obligation to make a final decision within a reasonable period of time. And when they don't do that, you can ask a court to step in. Does that make sense? Any questions about that? Let me know. Let me know in the comments below. Warrior Boy, I'm still looking for your question on TikTok. I feel bad. I didn't mean to ignore you. And I hope that maybe I don't know the answer to your question, but I hope you repost it so I can try to figure it out. Talad Aziz, hello on YouTube. I always ask this question. I love it if you would post in the comments. Tell me where you're located. I love seeing where everybody's coming from. Yesterday, we had people in Dubai, Switzerland, Atlanta, all over the place. I would love to hear where you are. Trevor, no. Any thoughts on a clearly established relationship and any steps to take if such a pair let's see here. Sorry. Let's see. Any thoughts? Let me repeat this. Any thoughts? Sorry, just one second. Any thoughts on a clearly established relationship and any steps to take if such a pair would at some later point choose to reside in the U.S., at least part-time eventually, though current resident countries are perfectly fine for now? All right, Trevor, let me try to answer that. First of all, if you are happy living outside the U.S., then there's no reason to even pay attention to me. You don't need me at all. You just live your best life outside the U.S. and enjoy. But if you want to live in the U.S. and you want to get a green card, that means that you're going to move to the U.S. and live in the U.S. exclusively and permanently. It doesn't sound like that's something you're contemplating. But if you wanted to do that, then what would come into play is showing that the marriage is not only that you're legally married, but that your marriage is based on a genuine relationship. We have Talat from Calgary. Do we have an office in Minnesota? We have tons of clients in Minnesota. Many of our clients are from the Somali community. We help people, but we don't have an office there, but we help them wherever they are through email and online tools and things like this. But to go back to your question, how can you prove that your marriage relationship is genuine? Well, you can prove that you share your lives, that you have joint financial arrangements, that you live together. Maybe you have children, maybe not. Maybe you file taxes together, you own a home together, you have a car, you travel, you go on trips, your families know each other, you spend time with each other, you have plans for the future. I could go on and on and on. Yaz Talib is from Dallas, where I grew up. I love Dallas. Was back recently. Carlos Campos in California, where I am. Calgary, as I said, love it. Where are you located? Let me know. Again, we don't have an office in Dallas, but we have tons of clients in Dallas, and we help them online using all the tools that we take advantage of through Zoom, Google Meets. We have clients in Chicago. Talat Aziz, if you need help, you can reach out to us. I'm going to put my email. I'll say it out loud here. It's joshua@jgoldlaw.com. And I'll post it up here. Joshua@jgoldlaw.com. Message me directly. Tell me what's going on, and my team and I can jump in and try to help you out. If we cannot help you, because we don't do every type of immigration case, but if we can't help you, we will try to connect you or give you the name of somebody who we trust who does good work. Dilip Reedy, welcome. Baby Shark on TikTok, welcome. Can you please tell me the timeline, he says, or she. Tell me the timeline of an I-130 petition as of 2024. All right. So the I-130 is the visa petition that you file for an immediate family member, your parents, your minor children, your adult children, your brother, your sister, your spouse. You file the visa petition. It's going to take probably 8 to 12 months to get that visa petition approved. After you get the visa petition approved, it's going to go to the National Visa Center. After the National Visa Center is going to take probably a good 6 months to get through the National Visa Center. 6 months. Forms, fees, all that good stuff. Now, another thing I should mention to you about this application process is on April 1st, the filing fees are going to go up significantly. So if you're thinking about filing an I-130 or any other type of immigration case with USCIS, my advice is to file it in advance of that April 1st date, so you don't have to give our dear friends at USCIS $1 more than you have to. So we started with the visa petition. Next, we went to the National Visa Center. Finally, we are moving on to the interview, and that's going to take another 6 or 8 months maybe to get the interview set up, depending on where you're located and what's going on at that time. So that's the timeline. I hope that helps. It can be discouraging when you look at how long things take, but don't get discouraged. Just file it and forget about it. That's my best advice to you. I'm going back up. It's very hard for me to see the questions. Here's a good question. This is a really good question from Erica. Erica says, Josh, what do you think would happen if someone in their 60s married someone in their 30s and applied for a visa? Okay. Well, we have helped couples get their cases approved when there's a significant age gap. And I believe in true love. And I think that people should be together regardless of who they're in love with, and age is just a number. I'm 8 years older than my wife. This is the way life is. Nevertheless, if there is a significant age gap, we call this, like if you have like a retired firefighter who's 65 and marrying a woman who's 23, sometimes the consulate just doesn't believe that it's a genuine relationship. And they think that, especially when the US citizen is the older person, they think that the foreign national is just taking the older person for a ride, and that it's not a genuine relationship. So I've had clients who are absolutely heartbroken when they couldn't get these cases approved. We take cases where there's an age gap, but we always warn people about the risk of denial. You'll never know. If you don't file the case, I guarantee you it won't be approved. So I would say if there's an age gap, go ahead and file it. It is harder to get approved if the woman is 60 and the man is 30. And if the woman's a US citizen, don't get mad at me. Don't judge me. I'm not judging you. I'm just pointing that out, that if the the US citizen woman is older, significantly older than the man, then that's a tough one. Okay. Let me know what other questions you have. I'm going to take another question from our friends on TikTok. How long does it usually take to get a green card process for marriage with the U.S. Citizen National Visa Center? Okay, so if you're applying for a green card through marriage in the U.S. through the adjustment of status process, I think you should be able to get that approved in less than a year. But there's a caveat with that. First of all, the processing times are unpredictable. And secondly, between now and April 1st, I expect that there will be a flood of new applications with people racing to beat the filing fees. The filing fees right now for a marriage-based green card case, for the work permit, the travel document, the whole enchilada, it's $1,760. On April 1st and thereafter, the filing fees are going to be $3,005. $3,005. Wow. they're going to charge you separately for the travel document. And I know that a lot of my clients are going to be like, oh, I don't plan to travel. Let's skip that. But what would happen if you skip the travel document is it could be a very, very long wait if you have to apply. Erica, I see you said thanks. I hope my answer was helpful. I'm not sure. I was just giving it to you straight. I'm not sure if that was what you wanted to hear, but I'm just telling you that. Talat Aziz, our Persian friend on YouTube, says he got the DS 5535 submitted for his passport. It's been 9 months and you're waiting and you got your passport with them. I hope you contact us because we'd love to help you. When it comes to Persian clients, I always have so much sympathy for the Iranians because the US government and the government in Tehran, they don't like each other. There's a lot of animosity between these two governments. Obviously, everybody knows that. But what happens is there's ordinary people like Talat and his friends who have delayed cases, and he gets caught up in this mess. You know, it's unfair, and there's so many brilliant people who deserve their visas in a reasonable time. Oh, Talat is not Persian; he's Pakistani Canadian. Well, nevertheless, I think a lot of our clients are Pakistani. I've made a lot of content about what's going on in Islamabad. That's caught a lot of attention from the Pakistani community. And people end up getting delayed because they're from a majority Muslim country. He went to Iran for work. Yeah, I mean, that would trigger the delay. But regardless of why your case is delayed, it doesn't even matter. You deserve your visa within a reasonable period of time. If your case has merit, it should be approved, right? So Top 10 says, can you please answer my question? And I'm going to try to do that right now. This is our friend on YouTube. I'll switch back to Instagram and TikTok in a minute. It says here, question, my spouse, a U.S. citizen, lacks a recent job and tax history for sponsorship. We're unable to find a joint sponsor as well. We have some savings. Is there an alternative? Oh, I like this question. So, if you are trying to get a green card through marriage, your U.S. citizen spouse must file the I-864. Even if doesn't have enough income, you have to file the I-864. Okay? That's it. Now, if you don't have enough money, you have to use a joint sponsor. Now, Top 10 says that he or she has been unable to find a joint sponsor. Okay? You're unable to find a joint sponsor. I'm going to push back against that. Why are you unable to find a joint sponsor? You need to find someone, anyone who lives in the U.S., who has a green card or is a U.S. citizen, who has a job, almost any job will qualify, and who's willing to fill out the form, sign it, and provide some basic documents. That's it. That's all they have to do. And, this may be one of those rare times in your life where you have to reach out and ask for help. So, if I told you that you could get $1 million if you get your case approved, and, I'll give you $100 million if you get your case approved, I guarantee you'd find a joint sponsor. No question about it. And it's that sort of urgency that you really need to show here. I've had so many clients who said, I can't find a joint sponsor. I don't have anybody. They always find someone. Always. I'm looking for the guy I've ignored on TikTok. Travis. Husband crossed the border, detained, apply for asylum, eligible for AOS or CP with a waiver. Oh, Travis, you gave me a tough question. First of all, I think that your husband is in deportation proceedings and does not have a proper entry. So you're going to need a lawyer who specializes in deportation defense. We don't handle those particular types of cases. I've done thousands in my career, but we don't do them currently. The solution is to possibly apply for asylum. There's possible ways to get a waiver, but you really have to look into it very carefully. And hope that answer is helpful. If I skipped your question, you have to understand I'm looking at my phone and it's tiny and I'm just trying to do my best. I'm going to go over to Instagram. I married an American. So did I, by the way. Though she is over there, I want to know what the process is and the amount it will cost me to go over there and how to apply for a visa. I'm from Nigeria. Okay. You married an American. You are in Nigeria and you want to be in the US. How do you make that happen? First of all, your wife needs to file a visa petition for you. That form is called the I-130. And that process is going to take 8 months or so to get that approved. And you basically submit proof that your marriage relationship is genuine, proof that you're legally married, that you've terminated other divorces, and so on. And then after you file it, you'll go to the National Visa Center. They're going to ask for more fees, more forms, more information. Once you get through that, you'll have an interview at the U.S. consulate where are you, in Nigeria? It'll be in Nigeria, right? And then from there, you'll get your visa. It's a long haul, but the sooner you file it, the sooner you'll get it. Aisha Hake, question. I completed the DS-260 form because it's not, the complete DS-260 form is not available. Need help with the DS-260 form. How can I unlock it in the portal? You could file another one, I think. Dilip Reedy. I just got married on November 1st. Congratulations. I started to pay with you guys. Now what and all I need to do to show the government that we're together. I can't get a social security number. I'm on F1. How long? So if you hired us to be, if you're a client of our firm, then you're very smart and congratulations. And I'm grateful to have a chance to help you. Our team will help you do all these good things and we'll get you a social security number and a work permit and all those good things as quickly as we can. Let's see what other questions you have. Here's a good question. Here's a very good question. Okay, Nick on TikTok. He says, I applied for an I-751 8.5 months ago. No update yet. How long will it take? And do they do interviews? How long will it take? It's going to take a hell of a long time. These cases take very, very, very long time. When people hire me to do these cases, I say, just so you know, it's going to take a really long time. And they said, well, yeah, well, what does that mean? And I said, it's going to take years, like a couple of years to do this. Why does it take a couple of years to get an I-751 approved? That's a damn good question. I don't know. It shouldn't take that long, right? That's crazy, but it does. And when I call people and tell them that they got approved, which is my absolute favorite part of my job, I always say, remember what I told you years ago when you hired me? I told you this would take a long time. Now, the second part of your question, do they interview? Do they do interviews for the I-751? Yes, they do. Not always, but sometimes. The best thing you can do is to make sure that when you submitted your I-751, that you included extensive proof that your marriage relationship is genuine. Now, while your I-751 is pending, you should continue to compile proof and evidence that your marriage relationship is genuine. You should do that. You should file your taxes together, take photos, keep your photos together, make sure you have a lease together or driver's licenses with the same address, or you have shared ownership of real estate. Goes on and on and on. Those are things that you want to do. Waria Boy says, you're always ignoring me. Instead of posting that, just repost your question maybe, because I can't find it. Forgive me. Lisandra Rivera, what are other options if military PIP was denied? Why would military PIP be denied? We've done so many of these cases. We've had great results. I love military parole in place. I love helping immigrant military families. I'm sorry your case was denied. I'd love to hear more about it and try to help you out. I hope you contact our firm, share the denial with us. Let us look into it to see if we can turn it around for you. But if military parole in place was denied, you could look into parole in place not based on the military. That's something to try. It's a little exotic, but it might work. The other thing to look into would be some sort of a waiver, maybe an I-601A waiver. But you have to look into it very carefully. You need a great lawyer. We would love to help you out. Here's a good question. I found it here on TikTok. Abdurrahman Rana. Is filing a K3 recommended after applying for an I-130? My lawyer said it will speed up the process. Yes, it will. It doesn't work in the exact same way that you think it might work. So I want to take a moment to explain why you should file the K3 visa application and what it does. So if your spouse is outside the U.S. and you file an I-130, there's another application called a K3, and the K3 is supposed to work like this. While the I-130 is pending, it gives you the ability to have a visa to come into the U.S., to wait in the U.S. while the I-130 is pending, right? That's the purpose of the K3 visa. But in fact, it doesn't work that way at all in practice. The way it really works is when you file the K3 visa, it pushes USCIS to approve the I-130. So by filing it, you get a decision on your I-130 faster. That's basically what it does. And there is at present no fee for the I-130 for the K3 visa, so there's no reason not to do it. So there's that. But I hope that answers your question. Let me know what other questions that you do have. Kirky Famous says here, what's the next step after filing Form I-130 for a parent who lives outside the U.S.? Okay, so your I-130 is going to get approved. And after it gets approved, if the system works as it should, your I-130, your visa petition will be sent from USCIS to the Department of State, and you'll go to the National Visa Center. And the National Visa Center will contact you by email, and it will ask you for filing fees, for forms, and for information. And that's the way it works. That's the way it's going to work. It says here, this is from Mokrane James. Hello, Josh. Hello, Mokrane. How long does the I-130 and I-45 take after the I-765 got approved? Keep up the good work. Thanks. The approval of the I-765 is a good sign. It means that you're on track and that your case is progressing in a normal way. I would say you could be 6 months away, depending on the case type. You could be 6 months away from getting a decision on those applications and getting your green card. Here's a question from TikTok. How long does it take to sponsor someone in Cuba? It depends on what you mean by sponsor someone. Is your case based on marriage? Is it a child? Is it a parent? Um, if you're doing it through marriage or through a fiance visa, I think it would take about 18 months. Sana Sagar, I really want to talk about my fiance. How do I do that? Um, in my bio on TikTok, you can book time with our team and share your information with us, and we can see if we can help you out. You can also message me at joshua@jgoldlaw.com. And the more information that you share with me, the easier it is for me to help you. Sometimes I get people and they're like, oh, just give me a call and I'll tell you everything. I don't want to, like, I can't explain. And that's always harder because I can't talk to everyone. And I don't know if I don't know what your case is about, I'm going to have to ask some questions to get a little bit up to speed beforehand. Um, Are they still waiving the interview? I've heard some lawyers say that they're not doing this anymore, but we've recently gotten a few green cards approved without interviews. So I think the waiver is still happening. Um, that's my opinion. I mean, it's not my opinion. It's what I'm seeing happening. Um, Let me ask you this. I'm creating new videos, new content. If you have any suggestions for videos that you would find helpful, that you would like me to create, if there are topics that you're interested in, put them in the comments. I'll make a video just for you, if I can, if I can add value. Um, um, Facebook user. Is there any way I can get a work authorization? A work permit or work authorization is something that many people want. Um, Typically, let me throw out a few ways that people can get a work permit. If you have a pending application for asylum, you can get a work permit. If you have a pending application for a green card in I-485, then you can also apply for a work permit. If you have temporary protective status or TPS, or if you have DACA, you're also entitled to a work permit. Those are the main ways off the top of my head that I have found people getting work permit. This is a great question from Instagram. KML5852. If the elections change the current government, how will the family-based immigration be reformed? So, if Donald Trump becomes our president or any Republican, what will happen with our immigration system? Um, well, first of all, who's going to win the election? Is it going to be Biden or is it going to be Trump? I think Biden will win, but I'm not that confident. I think it could be Trump too. What do you guys think? You think it'll be Biden or Trump? Put it in the comments below. I mean, you have two very unpopular candidates. Um, I really don't know. But if Trump wins, I think that he will definitely shut down the immigration system. And I don't know if anyone will get visas or green cards approved. Maybe they'll put a pause on everything. I mean, I found it outrageous that he said in 2015 that he'd put a ban on Muslims. Looks like people are predicting Trump. Yeah, it could be. Um, I the best advice I can give you is to get things sorted out now. If you have the ability to file an application, you've been waiting and waiting, do it. If your case is stuck, we're experts at helping people get delayed immigration cases approved. So reach out to us. Don't do tomorrow what you can do today, because I think that there's going to be a real panic that will happen as we get closer to the election. And if it looks like Trump's going to win or has won the election, then the period between November and January where Trump takes office is going to be, it's going to be bonkers. Everyone's going to be filing cases and trying to figure out what's going on. You don't want to be there. You don't want to do this. So get it sorted out now, and then hopefully you won't have to deal with it. Does that make sense? Um, Here's a question from Gabby on YouTube. Gabby Zafalon. My receipt number starts with MSC. Does that mean I will not be able to track it online like someone with an IOE receipt number? This is going to take longer. No, it just means that your receipt number has a different letter in front of it. Is that a different agency? You can still track it. Is it going to take longer? No, not necessarily. So don't stress about it. Here's Lana Hadadin. As evidence of physical residency, which is better? Taxes filed as evidence for the past 5 or 10 years back? I'm not sure what your question is, but proof of physical residency. I would like my favorite way to prove physical residency would be, um, I think it would be a driver's license, voter registration, car insurance, medical records, anything to prove that you're actually there. You could file your taxes and you could just have an address on the taxes that you don't actually live at. So there's that. Here is El Guatemex guy on Instagram. He says, I want a petition for my dad to come to the US from Guatemala, but I'm worried that he's too elderly to go through the process and the interviews. Is the process stressful? Well, it's the only way your dad is going to be able to get to the US. So I think the juice might be worth the squeeze. To go to a visa interview, he's going to have to go to Guatemala City and attend an interview. Um, I don't think that would necessarily be stressful. Um, but I don't know. Let me see here. Facebook user Komi Prasad. Hey, Josh, I wish you a happy marriage anniversary. Thank you. I got 221G, unfortunately. It got rejected, but my wife is in the US, so I come up with a F2 dependent due to 13-month wait. I've started everything from scratch. My H1B was rejected in India. Can I reopen that with a different employer, or is it completely rejected because of a long wait of 13 months? 221G. Well, um, so it sounds like your H1B visa was stuck in 221G, and now you're trying to come in on an F2 visa. Your wife has an F1 visa. I don't think you can just switch employers, but if you still have the job opportunity from the current H1B visa, then there are some strategies that we can use to try to get you approved. Can you travel within the US on your work permit as an immigrant? Yes, you should be able to do that. You should definitely be able to do that. Let's see here.